Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Okay, roll call of board members.
Dennis Geig, present.
Richard Cardone, present.
Marai Bryan, present.
Olivia Montgomery, present.
Darlene Brown, present. Okay, we'll please stand for the presentation of the colors by Mojave High School, and then Mystic Rhythm will give us the national anthem.
Okay, that's it. Terry, tell us. Forward. March. One time. March. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Oh. Reason. Good. One, two. Excellent. Right. Forward. March.
Thank you. That was very nice. Okay, citizens that are present, please make sure that you've signed in on the sign-in sheet. And there were no call to the audience slips, so we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. We have a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Richard?
Madam President, members of the board, before we get to Students of the Month, I just want to remind all of our students that next Tuesday, February 18th, is our 100th day attendance assembly. So while we want to encourage students to have good attendance and come to school every day, you'll definitely want to be here on Tuesday the 18th, right here in the field house. Thanks to a gracious donation from Anderson Auto Group, you will have an opportunity to see some performances by your principals. I understand Mr. Wilcox is going to be doing a dance and a singing routine. So is Miss Gianamore. We're going to see who's got better dance moves and who can sing better. We're going to have some fun games, and we got a bunch of prizes that you'll have an opportunity to potentially win. We've got AirPods and Xboxes and a check for over $2,000 for one lucky winner. So definitely come to school on the 18th and be at the assembly. It should be a lot of fun. With that, we will get to our Students of the Month. Mr. Amon, would you please present the Academy Student of the Month?
Good evening, board. There we go. All right. Just a little news about the Academy. We had 5 more graduates this week, so woo. Yep. All right. And now on to why we're here. All right. The Academy is proud to present our Student of the Month who truly epitomizes the belief that hard work pays off. At our school, teachers and staff work together as a team to help our students believe in themselves, see their potential, and work hard to achieve more. Ladies and gentlemen, this student has demonstrated exactly that. Even though she is new to our school, she has adjusted quickly and shows a sense of responsibility and accountability. She always makes sure that she is green barred and passing despite academic hurdles. She holds herself accountable for her learning, stays focused on doing well, and her positive attitude and hard work make her a great role model for other students. Ladies and gentlemen, our Student of the Month, Peyton Sarabia. This is yours, and then we're going to come over here.
Congratulations. Ms. Janamore, would you please present Mojave High School Student of the Month?
Hello. So my student of the month is here, and you've already seen her tonight. She just doesn't know she's student of the month. But our student of the month from Mojave High School is Haley Hewlem. She's a current sophomore. Come on up, Haley. It just happened to be that they were also presenting tonight. But Haley is a current sophomore at Mojave High School. She is a one-of-a-kind student. She takes honors classes, pre-AP classes. You come over. And she maintains a 4.3 weighted GPA. Haley is one of 5 students who had perfect attendance and a honor roll last semester. She maintains high academic achievement while participating in the school play, performing with Mystic and Rhapsody, along with constantly smiling and having a positive attitude. Along with that, there's 2 pages of notes of what her teachers said. So let me just go to the highlights here. Her teachers say that she treats other students with deep respect and care and assists them to make sure that they do not feel insulted or talked down to. On the drama program, she is a phenomenal actress and singer who memorizes her lines extremely fast, and she can always be relied on to be at rehearsal. She's a prime example of what we strive for all of our students at Mojave High School to be like. She has a talent that is rarely matched by any students her age. Her freshman year, she earned the role in the lead spring musical Mamma Mia, and her sophomore year, she has the incredibly difficult role of the witch in our upcoming musical Into the Woods. Haley will continue to be a shining star in the T-Bird community for years to come. Haley is respectful and a kind individual who fosters a positive and supportive environment among her peers. So for our Student of the Month, we have Haley Hewlem.
Congratulations. And Mr. Wilcox, would you present River Valley High School Student of the Month?
Board members, it is a pleasure of mine to introduce you to Julissa Richard. She is a senior at River Valley High School. She is the Student Council Treasurer this year, and she's a member of the National Honor Society, participates in volleyball, basketball, and wrestling the last 2 years. Last year she was only a girl wrestler. This year she got more out there with her. And she is one of this year's valedictorians coming up in May. She puts a lot of community service in at the Boys and Girls Club, and she is also the chairman of the Native Club at River Valley. So our Student of the Month is Julissa Richards.
Congratulations. Board members, would you jump in for a picture? Moms, dads, if you want to come grab a photo shot. Madam President, this concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay, we'll move on to 1.7. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are recessed. sorry. We're reconvening this meeting. Do we have any motions?
I make a motion that we implement the full performance pay for the superintendent.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to move on to 4.1, donations received and authorization to write thank you letters. Looks like we've got two different groups, Community Pride Advocates with a couple of donations to River Valley High School, and Kiwanis Club with several donations to River Valley High School law, football, and student council. Can we get a motion to approve writing thank you letters?
Motion to write thank you letters.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We'll move on to consent agenda.
Madam President, I'd like to pull 5.2, Mr. Dell's report on the food service and the field house report. I don't know how you're going to do it going forward. Are you going to go through each item on the consent agenda, or are you going to just do it all in total? Or haven't you decided?
I just thought we could do it all in total, but if we have somebody pulling one.
Mr. Dell, I guess we could start with the food service. What's going on with that? It looks like we're not doing so good.
Yes,
Looks like we're a little bit behind. I thought that was last time we talked, we were doing well, and it looks like the trajectory is going in the wrong direction. What's that from?
Yes, sir. As we moved from a company doing our food service to in-house doing our food service, I did hire a food service director and give instructions to hire staff, and our payroll in the staff that has been hired is not keeping up with the revenue that we're generating from the effort at this time.
Were there too many people hired, or what?
Yes.
Okay. And were they hired full-time, like, say, full year, or were they just hired for the calendar year where the students were there, or were they hired for 12 months?
We do have several full-time employees that are 10-month, but they are full-time receiving benefits. And then we have a section of the staff that are part-time, 10 months, and not receiving benefits.
How overstaffed do you think we are?
I don't think that we're overstaffed in the number of staff members that we have decided to utilize, but I do believe that we are overstaffed in the full-time benefited positions. Dr. Richard was excellent with his ideas this morning in an HR meeting that stated that we should do a better job of making sure that we have a part-time staff that comes in the morning to do prep and a part-time staff that comes in the afternoon that does serve. And this would alleviate some of the issues that were caused by the method that was utilized to hire staff for the in-house process.
Who hired the people?
The folks were hired by the food service director, Sheila Lopez.
Okay. And
However,
did you give her any
the
direction?
instructions to hire them were given by me.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to have to clean that up, or that's going to be, something that was going to be good is going to
Yes,
be
sir.
bad.
It cannot be bad, so yes, sir.
All right. Let's move on to the field house. Food service looked bad. This looks worse. How can we save some money here? Because this is painful to read. Now, here's the thing I'm worried about. We're incurring all these expenses. We have these people using our field house. They're paying us they're beating the turf to death, and then in a year or two, we have to spend $2 million on new turf. I don't know that this is worth even renting it out. It seems like to me that maybe what we should do is just let our kids play in it, and that's that. And then at least that the money spent on the AstroTurf will last longer, because we're losing money doing this, so why bother? I mean, we have to really sit down and reconnoiter where this is going, because this deficit is dismal, and the wear and tear in the field house is what I'm worried about. Where do you think we can save? It looks like utilities is our biggest expense. Where else can we save? I mean, well, what about this insurance? Can we shop for a little better plan? I mean, I think we have to look at all our expenses and just drill down on each one of those and figure out how we can, improve on each one of those to save. Because if you nickel and dime each one of them, maybe at the end of the year, this won't be so painful. Because right now, I don't like to see anything parenthetically written, because that is not acceptable. Now, I know there's certain things you can and can't do here, and it was, the whole venture is a problem. But what are your thoughts? Where can we save some money here?
My initial thought is quite like the food service operation. Historically, certain expenditures that weren't necessarily required to be on an entity were placed on an entity. For instance, there's utility costs and gas costs and certain capital purchases in the food service expenditures that you see on my report that don't necessarily have to be in the food service account. Those can be general fund M&O expenses, which of course would make that report look much, much better. And the insurance that you see on the field house is just part of the general insurance that we pay as a district. And it was applied several years ago to the field house as a proportional expense, because the field house is an entity operation, and it was applied. If the board would like those expenditures that don't necessarily have to be on the food service entity or the field house entity, those can be M&O expenditures as opposed to field house specific, and that would definitely make an impact. Now, the wear and tear on the field house is, of course, an issue, and allowing less wear and tear obviously is going to be better for the field house in the long run. And you also need to consider the fact that the bond that built the field house is 100% paid for by taxpayer dollars. It's not any money that comes out of the district's general operating fund or our cash reserves.
I know we have to be the best stewards of their money we can possibly be.
Exactly correct.
Now, let me ask you something. We had talked in other meetings ad nauseum about the temperature. We're turning that down.
Yes, sir.
Especially in the summer coming up. So, I mean,
And
make
repairing
sure
units.
that the business area where Michelle is at, and that's where they want it at. But the general field during the day, I mean, and that's being watched by someone, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What about increasing revenues with not renting the house, but a sponsorship? Banners and things like that. Any opportunities? What are we doing to increase that portion?
Actually, we have lost several sponsorships recently by applying a level and consistent pricing on the sponsorships. We can take a look at the pricing that we've been offering the public for the last year and see if there's opportunity to modify the prices, and of course bring that back for board approval if we would like to look at a new pricing model to go for. It's been about a year.
Be good.
So if we reduce the rates for sponsorship, do you think that would bring more in?
It would have to benefit the effort.
Well, we had picked numbers because there was no uniformity to what was going on. There were
Correct.
some people that were having sponsorship without paying any money, and their signs were just left up there. So that's why we try to do it so it was fair. So
And-
those numbers might be too high, so we can revisit that.
And the
Maybe
thought
some-
process at the time those numbers were created were exactly the thought process that you just mentioned. The field house wear and tear, at least we'd be compensated for allowing someone to come in and use the field house.
Yeah, I'm just worried in the next year or so, Dr. Richard's going to tell us, hey, listen, we need new AstroTurf. And then we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then you contract with these people to give a bid, and they see it's for a school, and whatever the price is, they just add a couple for postage and handling, and we pay a lot. So we have to see if we can avoid that or just put that off as long as we possibly can by protecting our assets as good as we can. So that's all, Madam President, I have on that.
Okay. Any other discussion on the consent agenda? Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. 6.1, discussion of the governing board book study. Everybody had a chance to read a couple of chapters in that book?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go first, I guess.
Mhm.
First chapter. Do you want me to just do one chapter or both talk
Why
about?
don't you comment on both chapters?
Both
and then-
chapters? Okay. All right. So first chapter, I don't want to sound too contrarian, but I do agree with the idea that you don't want to be too severe and harming people or not harming, but criticizing. But at the same time, I do believe in holding people accountable if they don't do a good job. And I wasn't sure initially because I was reading the book, I was like, because the example they give is the board member going a little excessive on somebody for some grammatical errors. But I was like, well, when was this book written? Because I was like, was this with 1994? Did they have spell check back then? But I looked, I think it was 2011. So, they could have used spell check in that example, But that's just me. But, I agree that you need to have professionalism. But at the same time, if someone's not doing a good job, we have to hold a standard. And I believe that, we should expect excellence from anyone who's making a presentation. But I do agree with the overall, don't lambast people over something small and trivial. Second chapter, basic chain of command stuff. I agree. You don't want to be making unilateral decisions. That's not what you're supposed to do. That sounds like you have some legal jeopardy if you do that. Don't make promises you can't keep, and don't make promises whatsoever, I think, in that regard. So that's what I got on that.
Okay. Anybody else next? Olivia, would you?
Well, I agree with him. The first chapter, to be honest, I tried to quiz myself and I got them incorrect. So I'm glad that I went through it because I would guess, well, the answer is number 3, and I kind of went with 4. So then I read the right answer and I was like, oh, I'm glad I read this chapter because the answer was close, but it wasn't what it should have been. So I'm glad to have the book, and thank you for giving it to us.
That's interesting stories. Okay, next, Dr. Cardone.
Well, thank you very much for this very interesting read. Okay. Here's the thing. In chapter 1, this author wants you to believe that the board member's response is what's important and not the poor quality work done by the administrator. That's the first thing. There's a trickle-down effect that happens if you don't point out the obvious and hold people accountable, because how do you think that math class is being taught in this fictitious hypothetical school district? I would bet not well. There's no other sector of the economy that has to be babied like the education sector. If this were Charles Schwab and that executive were out there presenting some case at Charles Schwab and they were all grammatical correct errors and typos and the numbers didn't add up, they would tear that person apart. But here,
You know, they're like Mother Teresa. You know, Mother Teresa, don't tell Mother Teresa that she washed 9 out of 10 toes. She missed that last toe. God forbid, don't tell Mother Teresa she missed that toe. I mean, I don't know where we're going with this, but this is our only forum for debate, okay? We can't talk to each other. We can only talk to one person. So this is our venue, and we have to do all our business here in front of the public. And when you have this author trying to make you think, don't do that, he is wrong. This is where we have to do the debate. Sometimes the debate is ugly. Sometimes it's nice. Those students, it was very nice. Singing was very nice. Sometimes it's not so nice. And you have to call people out on this. Does it have to be ugly? No, but you have to call them out because this is important. Our kids' future is important. They're going to help us, our country, succeed. And if we have a low standard where, God forbid, we can't pick on some administrator because they do a poor effort in putting a presentation together, then I don't know what this is all about, why we're even here wasting our time. So I disagree with his conclusions. They're stupid for the points I've noted. The second chapter is the obvious, and this is the whole thing of this. You can't talk to anyone else. You can't forge some kind of alliance with some teachers union to try to get something done. You can only do our discussion and debate right here, and that's what the second chapter is about. The second chapter is the obvious. You can't make any deals with anyone. Okay, that's obvious relative to the open meeting laws. So I have no problem with chapter 2, but that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with some of the information that Dr. Cardone presented, and I think it is an open forum. And yes, we would like for everybody to present accurate information. And I do believe that we can hold people accountable, but I believe that is a right way. And we are in the education sector, so it has to be professionally and respectful when we point what is wrong. And obviously, if that continues to be a recurrence where the information is incorrect, then we will expect that Dr. Richards addresses that point and make sure that doesn't happen again. But I truly believe that we should be respectful at all times and professional at all times. And then the second chapter, like everybody said, we agree, it is the only place that we can debate, and we have the right to have different opinions and respect everybody's opinions and try to listen to everybody's point.
Okay, thank you. What I came from it was don't humiliate employees in public. We get their reports ahead of time. I know there were a couple of spell things that I sent in to Dr. Richards and said, there's a couple of things. Go to the superintendent and we'll make sure he has a process for checking and correcting people's. I think there's a saying that is, we can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. So, and then on chapter 2, what I came from that was we might need some training on labor relations. So I think it's a good, I like the book, and I think it's giving us some good ideas. So I'm glad it's something that we're doing. Dr. Richard, do you want to report on yours?
I would just like to thank the board members for leading a good example for our students by each of you doing your homework. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to 6.2, discussion and possible action on choosing dates for the governing board retreat.
What are we going to be doing at this retreat?
Dr. Richard?
Madam President, members of the board, we did something similar a few years ago where we had our directors present on the status of their departments, some things that they had accomplished and some challenges they were facing. And then we had an attorney come and provide open meeting law training, and it was really tailored to our specific policies, and it sort of turns into a ask the lawyer type of an event, which I felt was pretty helpful the last time we did it. It was roughly from around 8 to noon. The intention would be to do something similar. I reached out to Chris Thomas, who used to be our attorney. He now works, he's no longer affiliated with the trust. He works for a different entity now, but he has 25 years of experience. He has been the attorney for the Arizona School Boards Association for a long time, and I think those of you that were on the board, I think you guys enjoyed working with him for the short period of time that he was with us. He gave us a few dates on Saturdays that he might be available. That would be March 29th, April 5th, or April 12th. So the recommendation is, if the board wishes to have such a board retreat day, that you choose one of these dates, and that's a recommendation.
Is there any way we can
Okay.
at least start at 9 o'clock? I mean, I've got to go to the hospital before that, and I have to do my horses in the morning. I mean, it's just, do I want to get up even that much earlier on a Saturday to do this? I mean, can we at least start maybe 9 to 1 instead of 8
Yeah.
Is
to?
that possibility?
No problem. I don't have.
Any day that, any,
What were the dates again?
29th, March 29th, April 5th, and April 12th.
They're all Saturdays.
Yeah,
Right,
they're all
okay.
Saturdays.
The 29th and the 5th, I'm good.
Mine, the 29th is not good for me, but the 5th or the 12th would be good.
I'll just go with the 5th because I'll help you out.
Olivia, do you have?
I'm good any day.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve the retreat date on April 5th?
Motion to approve the retreat day on April 5th between the times of 9 and 1 p.m. 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., excuse me.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the
Any
field house
opposed?
is open then?
Yeah, those,
Sorry. We can find out. If not, we can do it at the Mojave campus like we did last time.
Oh, boy. Is it open? Okay, then I'm
you,
in favor
Amber.
then.
hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let's move on to 6.3, discussion and possible action on the approval of the CRUSH school calendars for 2025-26, 2026-27. Any discussion?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to 149 days, and most of the states use 180. And I just think that's a bad idea. Studies show the kids don't do as well. Longer days, less concentration, less teacher-student interaction. And-
Okay, we did vote last month to
Well, I know,
go
but
back
we're
to
voting
the,
on this now.
the
and
4-day.
I'm talking about that, and that's where else would I talk about it than now? I just think that we're making a big mistake. Our kids are our most precious commodity, and they need to be educated so our country can do well, and we can be smart, and we can, have inventions made. And doing this is, to be more interested in the teachers and their interests rather than the students, the community, and our country is incorrect and lacking foresight.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is, if you look previously in the recent history of the metrics, things are not doing well. If you look around the world, various countries, they all do far more days than us. China, I think it was 240. South Korea is 220. 5 days, longer days, and their academic achievement is fantastic. You look at Arizona, as far as I can tell, depending on the metric they use, we're number 44 out of 50. And so what I keep thinking about is, if we go to 5 days, what does that mean? We're going to go to 45? No. We need to maximize the amount of time kids are in school. I don't understand why we're doing this, again, giving our own metrics, our own analytics of what we know and the progress and the fact that we're on a positive trajectory on previous decisions that we made, that we would not try something different. Particularly because I was once a Dust Devil, and it was a 5-day week. I don't remember anyone at any time ever mentioning that they wish they had a 4-day. It's just, That's not a societal norm. Societal norm is 5 days. The real world is not 4 days. And you know what's true? 5 days is not even the real world. Because if you want to make it, if you want to be a business owner, it's 7 days a week.
Exactly.
It's 7 days a week. And with 5 days, we're giving these kids that want to do extracurriculars the ability to do 7 days. Because I did a lot of extracurriculars too. We need our kids to be in school learning. I don't know how this, I don't understand the logic of this. I don't think there is logic to this. I'll yield to other for comments.
Yeah, I agree, Dennis. You're exactly right. I mean, we're cutting them off by 30 days one year and 31 days the other year. I just don't think this is a smart thing to do, and I want the public to know that's what's going on here. This is less about education and more about, making teachers happy. That's what this is. And I want them to be happy, but not at the expense of our kids and our education and our country. So.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the calendar I presented.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, new business, we're going to 7.1, discussion and possible action on a field trip request for health science students to the United Kingdom summer of 2026. I think Ms. Vargas is presenting this one.
Hello. There we go. Hi, Madam President and board members. I'm here to present about this EF tours to Great Britain. It is actually being done through our WAVE CTED, and they're the ones organizing it and everything, but they want to include our students, so I filled out the paperwork so you guys can know about it and approve of it before we present it to our students. So it's 9 days to Edinburgh, London, and London. Oh, they start in Scotland. So, any questions?
You're taking them?
No.
Okay. Who's?
No.
Is there
It's-
somebody from the district?
It's our WAVE CTED, which is our WAVE Career and Technical Education District. They're the ones that are doing this whole trip and everything.
And are they district employees?
No, not our district. No, they have their own district.
Yeah, they're the JTED district.
Yeah. They're CTE, Western Arizona Vocational Education District. Technically I got two boards. I have two boards. So you guys and then our CTE board, and that district is running this and doing it.
Dr. Richard, what does it say on are we okay to do that? Because I thought we had to, I'd be totally okay if you'd go. Are we okay with, I don't remember exactly the wording on that policy, but I thought one of our district employees, it had to be like a teacher or administrator, had to go. Is that true or not? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I don't remember exactly, but I remember something to that effect.
I believe you may be correct. We may want to research that policy because I do think our policy does has some chaperone requirements. So I'd have to find that out for you. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, but I thought we talked about this one other time. Like I said, I'd be totally okay with you without any doubt, but I don't want to be in violation of our policy if it says something that's a discrepancy with how we may vote.
You don't want to go to Europe?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, I could go. I was invited to go to Italy, so because they're doing one. I presented one last year to Italy, and they have. I think they need another chaperone, but I'm going to stay and help with their board meeting instead. So.
Yeah, and the JTED board does cover River Valley, Mojave, Kingman, all of those schools under the CTE.
Could you have time for us to bring it back next meeting?
Yeah.
And
I do have the policy in front of
Okay.
me. And just give me a moment here. Okay. It says field trips and team travel, which is 5-212 is our policy. And it does say there must be a, let's see, student groups must have a faculty sponsor who oversees the activity of the curricular student group, and then a faculty advisor. And then all trips of student clubs, groups, and teams must have one chaperone for every 12 students, unless otherwise authorized by the site principal. So my recommendation is just on a quick read of this policy would be for one of our employees to attend, and that we meet the chaperone requirements as defined in policy, which is one chaperone for every 12 students.
Okay. So if we, I don't think to Italy we have a student that's going, but if we have one for this, I'll go with them. I'll pay for my own trip and go with them so they can have the experience.
Okay, and they have, looks like they've got 3 to 5 staff going.
Yeah, that's
then
just
2 to 3.
Sort of.
Like-
Truthfully, they just started.
Yeah,
This,
guess,
so it was,
guesstimation.
yeah, it was guesstimation.
Yeah, we've done those trips, so I know you have to put a plan together.
Yeah, a year out.
I make a motion to approve the trip as long as one of our staff is going with them.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Okay, next field trip is MHS ROTC to Nellis Air Force Base. Major Davis.
Madam President, board members. We took this trip a couple of years ago. Nellis Air Force Base puts on an air show. It's a 2-day show, a Saturday and a Sunday. We're going to a competition on Saturday, hence the travel day on a Sunday. And it's all reimbursed by the Air Force, meals, transportation, everything. So zero cost to the district.
How many are you taking?
45. We've got 4 chaperones going as well. So. Gates open at 10, show starts at 11. It's done at 5 p.m. and we'll be on our way.
I'll make a motion to approve the trip.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
We have cheer, RVHS, sorry, Spirit Line. It was cheer when I was in school.
You get cheer in public though. So I'm presenting a request for River Valley High School's and the USA National in Anaheim. Going anymore? I have a whole thing I wrote out for you guys. You want me to read it or not?
Any questions from anyone?
It's the same as before. Is there a employee going?
I am an employee.
Yes.
Yes,
I
she
just
is.
didn't know. I just didn't know.
She's the Spirit Line
Sounds
coach.
good with me.
Make a motion to approve the trip.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 7.4, discussion and possible action regarding an RFP for the parking lot restoration at River Valley High School and Mojave High School.
Madam President, members of the board, Carmen Valenzuela is going to be, and along with Mr. Dell, they're going to be giving a short presentation about our parking lots. Carmen, you want to come up here? Carmen's nervous, so go easy on her. But I asked them just to provide a short presentation on the current status of the parking lots on both of our campuses. And what we are asking is for permission to put out a bid. We're not asking to spend any money today. We're just asking for a RFP because this will, as you will see, depending on what option the board may ultimately choose, this is a rather expensive project. And so I asked Carmen to kind of report to you the condition of our parking lots, and I've asked Mr. Dell to share potential funding sources to address the parking lot situation should the board choose to ultimately to do so. But this is just a request to go out for bid for a project at this point in time. Carmen, go ahead.
Good evening, board members. Glad to be here today to meet all of you. We're gonna go over our a little presentation over the parking lots at both campuses, Mojave High School and River Valley High School. It's like we're gonna be looking at the visualizing the issue at the asphalt of our schools. Next one, please. This is our main entrance from coming from Highway 95. As you can see, there's some really damage to our asphalt. Our next one, please. That's our south lot near Ewing. As you can see, there's big gaps and some asphalt that it's already like torn in pieces. Next one, please. That's the south lot near the new gym entrance. Big holes. That one you can see it has a paddle on it. Next one, please. The north lot near T-Wing. Also you can see the condition of the parking lot. Our next one is River Valley High School. We're gonna be visualizing the issue too. You can see on this one, you can barely see the asphalt. It's almost all gone. Next one, please, on the main entrance. This is another side of the main entrance. You can see a little bit still of the asphalt, but it's almost gone. It has a lot of cracks that are really, really bad. Next one, please. That's the south parking lot, where our new gym and the old gym where they park. It's also in pretty bad condition. Our next one, that's the student parking lot. It's also the pictures are, but you can see still like one of the pieces right there. It's pretty bad. Our next one, please. The parking lots have been like neglected for a lot of years, and we have a lot of traffic, a lot of heavy vehicles going around, so it's been kind of damaged very bad. So we have our possible projects. We have option 1, 2, and 3. For Mojave High School, for option 1, we will have continual internal repair, which we have been trying to do, but it's not working really good. For option 2, we have seal the cracks, fill the holes, slurry coat, and paint. And the price could be up to like $200,000. We have our option 3, which is grind asphalt, hot patch damage, asphalt apply, track oil, overlay, 2.5 inch of new asphalt. That could be up to $1 million. For River Valley High School, we have, we can still do the continual repair, which is the same as for Mojave. And the option 2, we could do seal the tracks, fill the holes, slurry coat, and paint for $100,000. And the option 3 is grind the asphalt, hot patch, damaged asphalt, and track oil, and do all that for $800,000. Next one, please. And this is Mr. Dell's area.
Questions regarding the status of the parking lot?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like over the next month for you guys to start watching how much of that parking lot is utilized, because maybe if not all the parking lot is utilized, maybe we can, get rid of some of it and then make what's utilized where we grind it down and put new asphalt down for the higher end finish. But some of that, because I know that Mojave parking lot is pretty large, and I don't know if it's being used, if it's like packed with cars every day, or if there's areas that aren't being used. So just watch that at both schools. So we'll call you back next month and ask you about the utilization, because like I said, maybe we can do the high end stuff in certain areas, and then maybe the lesser end stuff elsewhere.
I believe Mojave is pretty packed.
Is it?
We only have very little on the north side, on Hancock. We have very little parking lot that it's empty. Most of our south side is fully packed in the most of the front too.
I know when I go there, it's hard to find a parking place
Is
at
it?
Mojave.
But how about River Valley? Less so?
River Valley, I think our student parking lot is the one that is more crowded in the front of the school.
Mhm.
We restore the whole front, and the parking lot is like horrible. Those two areas are like pretty bad. The high school, I mean, we could do that one first, and maybe the where the gyms are, but I think most of it really needs. Any other questions?
When's the last time it's been repaired, or has it ever been repaired?
We have been doing in-house repairs.
I'm sorry. I'll make like a complete refurbish. That's what I meant to say.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I should have specified.
It hasn't been done for years. I've been there since 2018, and I don't remember them doing it. We've been doing, like, I painted like the bumps. I blow them and painted them. There was not even a bump, and I painted like if there was a long time ago. So I know that we haven't done it for a long time.
I know it's, when I was first here, which was 28 years ago, they did the minor patch stuff where they just kind of coated it. I remember them doing that, but I don't remember anything since then other than just repairs.
So if you were to do that, like what is the lifespan? This is something I just don't know. Do you have any idea on that?
If we go with the higher one, it's 20 years, I think.
I think here it says 10 to 15
Oh,
year
10
return.
to 10 to 15
Yeah,
years.
sorry.
But if we do this, I'm in charge, so we will get it every year. We will take care of it. So whatever money we spend on it, it will be well taken care of.
Well, I think, I mean, you have good intentions, but you don't know anything about asphalt. I don't know anything about asphalt. So
true.
the people who do the bids, I think we have to get them in here and question them, because I don't want to leave it on your shoulder. Let the guy who's pouring the cement or concrete or asphalt, let them come in here and answer those questions so we know very unequivocally what's going on and what we're getting for our money.
Yes, that's right.
And if, I don't know how many people are in this area that do it, but I think we should venture out. I don't know what happened on that parkway, but did you see that passing lane in the parkway that they just did? What's that little added black layer there? I mean, that looks really shabby. I don't know why they did that, but we have to maybe go outside the area to find people who really know what they're doing.
Yes.
So
understood.
at this time, if we voted for an RFP, that's not not saying we have to go with anybody, correct? So if we did that and then we had people come in and present to us, I mean, how long does it take to do an RFP? So, I mean, do we need to get started on that? Do we have time to have?
Hi, guys. In the RFP process, we will be sending out specifications to at least 10 different contractors, and they would have to respond to our specification scope of work that we've decided upon. And then those vendors could definitely be, we could choose a top 3 and bring the vendors in for the board to discuss with them their particular responses to the RFP.
When you say contractors,
yes, sir.
I want people that do asphalt.
Exactly correct.
Okay. I don't want people
not
that come in
talking-
here that can do anything. We want them that just do that.
Yeah, we'll create a list of highly qualified vendors, and that's what the RFP process is about. And put together specs so that they respond to our requests, and obviously the pictures are going to be big parts of the specs that we put on the RFP proposal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can bring the 3 most appropriate responders to the board to answer questions. As far as budgeting, obviously this slide pretty much speaks for itself. The district over the last 4 years has been improving their cash balance position, also while building both capital and M&O budget capacity. So if the board were to decide to do both of the major projects at both schools, we do have the budget capacity and the cash on hand to do the projects. I believe that the $100,000 to $200,000 projects are about a 2 to 3 year lifespan on those projects. But if maintained after we started the process rolling, those could last for quite a few years without having to do a major project. The major project that we're looking at is an overlay, and that should get us 10 to 15 years. Again, if we regularly schedule maintenance. If we don't regularly schedule a seal and stripe every 2 or 3 years, it's going to look, even with an overlay like it does now, with no skin and just rocks showing.
Did that ABM have, were they supposed to be looking into that over the years?
Always, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And the overlay, I know it says 2 to 4 years, but I had seen 2 different big parking lots that they did that. It didn't last it but a year. It's in a really bad conditions, and within 2 years for this area, I had not seen a good product.
So the seal coat is just kind of stripped after a year or a year and a half. Understood.
Maybe I missed it, but which of the parking lots would you say is worse? Was it River Valley? Would you say or are they both pretty bad?
I think they're both pretty bad. Mojave has a lot of holes and all over.
Okay. So Mojave Valley would you say is if you had to pick one you were forced, you'd say that one's probably the worst of the two?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably a lot more traffic, that might.
Well, I'll make a motion that we get bids for both the superficial refinishing and the more extensive, more expensive from each of those companies. So each company can put 2 bids forth, and we go from there.
Second.
Sounds like a good idea. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, 7.5, discussion and possible action on FY26 classified transportation and is that supposed to be certified salaried placement schedules?
Yes, Madam President, members of the board. Usually this time of year, we bring an updated salary schedule to the board. This is not pay raises at all. This is just a new salary schedule and really a new format. We did a lot of research. We looked at other school districts throughout the state, and we also looked at our lowest paid employees and our highest paid employees in each of these categories. And we created a new pay schedule with a description, a minimum starting point, maximum for each category. And we believe that this is a more updated, a more modernized, and more easy to understand pay schedule, not only for people looking to potentially join the district, but also for our employees who are negotiating and trying to hire people. It just makes things a lot easier, and there's a lot more descriptive language in here. So we would request that the board approve the new pay schedule. Of course, any pay increases for anybody would have to come before the board. This is just to update and modernize the pay schedule.
When I went through each one of these file attachments, they're kind of hard to decipher. Each one of them, they got a range. So I'm not really sure what we're doing here. I don't really understand. I mean, is that range given, and then someone else decides the particular person's increase in pay? I mean,
so if this would apply to new employees that would get hired. Mm-hmm. So if a new employee comes in, this gives, we look at that employee's experience, we look at their education level, we look at any certificates they may have, and this is a guide to help us appropriately place that employee
I like the descriptions. I think that really helps, other than just guessing at
And
where
I-
you're going to put somebody.
And I think I saw probably you have some formulas that you enter the number of years and automatically kind of calculate some of that once in the description. It's a very common practice and compensation, and I understand that. My concern before we going to approve this is I like to see the data behind this data. Like, how did you come up with the minimum, the mid, and the max?
Sure.
And if you're saying that you got it from other schools and that, I would like to see that data. And then if you already have an employee that is in whatever rate, let's say it's an employee of 15 years, and then so that employee should be closer to the max, and then the new employee with 1 year. So I want to see that data to see that the ranges make sense.
Sure. And Michelle, would you like to share a little bit, because you helped with this? We did a bunch of research, but we did an analysis of multiple school districts. I'll let Michelle share because I know she did some research on that. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. So basically what we did with looking at the other districts was to find out how they classified certain roles. So that was what a lot of that was. If you have a registrar, if you have an attendance clerk, if you have a secretary, what were the roles and responsibilities? Where would they fall in their category relative to weight, you know? So we looked at that. Then as far as the dollar amounts, that's where it came in, where I looked at our actual employees we have now and where are they at? What do we currently have them coming in at? And what is that max? So before we didn't have a max. So you might have somebody come in and let's say they're a receptionist. And after 30 years, they're still a receptionist. But now they're making, because there was never a cap for that job, they might be making a buku bucks, and you get a brand new person coming in that's a registrar, which is going to be a harder job, more weight, more responsibility, and they're coming in lower. So by having that cap, you're kind of saying, if you want to move beyond that, then let's look at maybe going to a new position within the district and taking on some more responsibilities and growing, you know, your benefit for yourself and for the district. We didn't use the other schools to set our dollar amounts.
Okay. I do understand that. I know how to match the jobs and how to do that. But it's still my request is I like to see the numbers, because
Yeah.
I just look at two that kind of compare to some of the positions that we have, and they were a little off.
Yeah, and what happened is we condensed from about 8 columns, I think, down to about 5 rows. We just switched where they were. And so minimum wage went up, so that affected that one. And all the others went up. We used our current pay schedule, and they all went up about like 30 cents. I think that was what our current thing is, and that's what we left it at. We didn't change that. So dollar amounts were just kind of, what have we been bringing people in at? What are they at? Where's that going to fall? But I have no problem. We can provide any of the stuff that we've had from before, and kind of like, this is where we came with what we were looking at now. And the whole idea behind the form was that now if you have someone coming in, there's no subjectivity to it. It's strictly, they are responsibility A, B, C, D, E, F, and how many years. And you put that in, and it's automatically doing the calculations. And if they're bilingual, it's going to add that, you know, percentage point. So everything's automatic.
I do like that. The descriptive part is very good.
I have no questions, but if we can just pause and if it's not too much to ask, just get the numbers.
So do you want to table this until next month and
If-
bring
if
it back?
It's okay, yeah.
Okay. Do we have-
Okay, just to clarify, you say numbers, do you want the current pay schedule available?
Yeah. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'd like to compare the current pay schedule to this
To
one?
that, to see, yeah.
Okay.
That's what you guys said, is that's how you determine the minimum and the minimum and the max.
Yes.
So if I can look at that, I'll be good. Thank you.
I have to ask, do we need a motion to table it? Or do we just table it? Something new that
I think you do.
Can we have
Yes.
a motion to table?
I'd like to make a motion to table this, to review the information.
I second.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Looks like we're at 8.1, setting date, time, and location for future meetings.
That's the spring break
You
you mentioned?
The next meeting falls during spring break. So,
Well, we plan these the second Monday. It's kind of hard to replan these things, especially for that. I mean,
we just wouldn't have, most of the principals are probably off, and we wouldn't have ROTC, wouldn't have. You want to bring him in for spring break, Major?
well, they don't have to come in, but it's just hard when you put your schedule in advance, and then you got all these. Like I said, the education sector, they've got to be babied. We have to be very careful with them.
I know, I was one of those babied for 30 years, so.
I'm good. Keeping it the same second Monday or first Monday, I'm free.
I'm free for all of them.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm good, so. We have a motion to,
It's be March 10th, right? That's okay. Yeah, a motion, make the next meeting at 6 p.m. March 10th.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Let's make it a short meeting.
Yeah.
All right. We are recessed. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.